interlacing the fingers and taking the fists underneath the chin. I usually start with the elbows pressed together. Try not to bring tension to the wrists. So see if you can relax the wrists a little bit. Good. And we'll inhale the elbows up. And here you can kind of release. You can kind of flex the wrists a little bit or extend the wrists. And then chin back, open mouth, ujjayi, sticking the tongue out. Elbows together, lower the chin. So 4-part breathing, inhale, elbows up. Tip the head back. And then exhale, elbows in. And then everything down. 2 more times, deep breath in. Feel free to work with sound to stick the tongue way out if that feels really good, especially if there's frustration, anger, irritation. Let's do one more. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Good. Good. Take a deep breath in, relax the hands, and just kind of shrug and roll the shoulders out. So again, whatever feels appropriate to you. You might hunch the shoulders. Good. And let's roll the shoulders in the other direction. Just kind of get some movement into that shoulder girdle. My hands are just resting on my thighs. Good. And then just kind of loosen them up a little bit. So you might take the shoulders to the ears, breathe in. And then exhale really rapidly. One more time. Good. Relax that out a little bit. Nice. And then from here, this is a little bit of tapping. We're just going to take the sides of the hands. I'm going to move back a little so you can see. And we're going to tap the rib cage. So I'm just tapping with the sides of my hands. I'm tucking my thumbs in. Good. And just tap the rib cage. You can go back a little bit if that feels appropriate. You can go a little lower if you need to because of the shoulders, but we're just tapping the sides of the ribs, just bringing some energy into the lungs. Very beautiful. And one more deep breath in. And then just tap the sternum. So just with the fingertips, just tap the sternum, the breastbone. Good, breathing in. Something very powerful about the vibrational energy that comes from tapping and touching our own bodies, connecting with compassion, tenderness, gentleness, and grace. Beautiful. Go down just a little bit. Good, very nice. And we'll just do the face. So start with the top of the head, just a little tapping. Just noticing your breath. And then inner eyebrows. So I usually do sort of towards, as if my fingers are pointing towards the third eye point at the center of the brain. So on the bone, the orbit of the eye, make sure this is all touching bone. Good, the sides, the temples. Just a little tapping. I'm just working with both fingers, but you can do one finger, one hand underneath the eye, so the cheekbone. Yeah, just kind of waking up the face a little bit, tapping into our sense organs above the lip, so the upper jaw, lower jaw, chin. Good, under the collarbones. Beautiful. And then back to the sternum, back to the heart. And you can alternate here, just kind of tap. Start with the legs stretching out a little bit, circle out the ankles. Roll the thighs in and out. Very nice. And we'll start with that right leg crossing in front of the left. A little twist over to that right, come back to center. Nice. And we're going to walk that left hand out to the side. I like to tip all the way over onto that left hip, or the outer aspect of the thigh, right? And then take that right arm alongside the temple. You can also take the heel of the hand. So again, if you're working with shoulder stuff, just take the heel of the hand and press this right thigh away from you. Just watch this lower shoulder. See if you can kind of keep that left shoulder relaxed, integrated. Pressing that right thigh away from you, you might start to feel some tugging on this, again, sort of inner spine, lower back. Take a deep breath in. So this is the iliopsoas on the inside and the QL, quadratus lumborum, on the outside. And then as you exhale, you're going to lower that right sitting bone. Try to keep the hip as soft as possible. So don't work with the hip flexor. Try to release the hip flexors. Good. And sink that right sitting bone towards the earth. You can extend that other arm. Maybe that right arm extends alongside the temple. We're just feeling into that side body. Good. And maybe the brain can fall towards, again, the left temple, left shoulder, relaxing that left shoulder so it doesn't pop forward. Beautiful. And then gently bring yourself back up with an inhalation of the breath. And we'll take us into a forward bend. Walk the hands out in front of you. Good. Taking a deep breath in, lift the heart. Good. Again, you want to watch out for the knees, so put some support under the knees as necessary. Good. Angling the sacrum away from the floor behind you, really important so there's no compression in that lumbar spine. And then working with the navel, drawing you back towards the back body. Heart rising gaze can fall off the tip of the nose without the head going down. Keep the head up. Looking at our phones is a lot of strain on the neck and upper back. So lifting the head, moving into the natural extension of that neck. And then let the gaze drop. So your eyes, you're working your eye muscles a little bit. And one more deep breath in. Good. Lower the forearms if that feels appropriate. Exhale. Inhale, walk the hands in a little bit. Exhale, navel to spine. Shift your weight back into the hips. And then we'll come back up to an upright position. Stretch the legs out a little bit. Shake them out. Circle the ankles. Good. And then cross the left leg in front of the right this time. So Svastikasana, my heels are kind of underneath my knees. So it's sort of over crossing the legs a little bit, bringing those knees in. That's going to give you a little bit more broadening of the sacrum. And we'll take a little twist to the left. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, navel to spine. Good. Roll the belly. Twist from the abdomen, right? Turn from the tailbone, but twist the belly. So you get this kind of rib cage is rolling, but the pelvis is grounded. So we don't want to twist from the lumbar, right? We're going to start to rotate from the abdomen and find a little rotational movement through the thoracic, maybe even into the neck as you look over your left shoulder. Breathe in. Good. Breathe out. One more deep breath in. Navel to spine, lower belly drawing back. Come out of the twist and we'll take a little side stretch. Walking that right hand out this time. Good. Tip the pelvis so you're on the outer right thigh. And just kind of pressing into the outer left heel at the same time. And then the left hand can gently press that left thigh away from you a little bit, again, to find some traction on the inside, right? We're trying to kind of you might feel a little tugging with all that, the connective tissues around the hip, the myofascial tissues. Left arm again can extend overhead. It doesn't have to. You can keep just, again, inviting the hip flexor to soften and release, and then gently sink or weight that left sitting bone towards the earth. Beautiful. And just kind of feel into that. It's a gentle tugging sensation. It can be very intense. The gentle is just allow your mind to relax a little bit around the sensation, breathing in. Breathe into the sensation and then exhale. Very nice. Inhale to come all the way back up to an upright position. We take a little forward bend. Exhale again, tipping the pelvis from, you want to hinge from the hips. Support the knees as necessary. Walk the hands out in front of you. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, draw the navel to the spine so you have some kidney support, right? You want to breathe into and create some space across the kidneys. Take the gaze way out. Lift the head a little bit. Take the gaze way out in front of you. Then drop the eyes so you're looking off the tip of the nose. Nasagaraya Drishti. This is, again, one of the 9 directions of the gaze. Take a deep breath in. If you feel like you want a little more sensation in the hips or around that lower back, you can come onto your forearm. So again, just kind of gauging. You might be in double pigeon, fire log pose, Agni Shavasana, where the leg is actually stacked. One shin is stacked on top of the other. Again, just creates a little bit more intensity of sensation. You always want to be able to explore the edge of the sensation. If it's tight, so tight, and we're pushing through, we're forcing, you're just going to get tighter, right? So we're inviting the body, we're inviting the attention kind of to move through the body. Notice where the body is being held. Let's inhale, extend those arms and walk them back in a little bit. Good. Working with the exhalation of the breath to soften that which is resistant, tight, bound, sticky. And then let's come all the way to an upright position. Beautiful. And then from here, let's take those, you can either take the legs out, just kind of stretch them out for a moment, circle out, roll the hips, roll the legs from the hips. Good. And let's bring, let's see either. Now let's bring the soles of the feet together. We'll take Baddha Konasana, where the soles come together. If you have a little bit more release in the hip flexors, good. Then you can let the knees or the thighs fall open a little bit. Feel free to bring the feet as close to you as feels comfortable to do so, or as far away. And then we're just going to start to bring some movement into the base of the spine, right? So we want to circle the pelvis. Draw little circles around the sits bones. Breathing in, take the heart up and forward. Breathing out, take the rib cage and the navel back and in. Pause and reverse when you're ready to do so. Breathing into sensation. One more deep breath in. We'll come back to neutral spine. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Good. Exhale, bring the knees in together. Tip the pelvis back. So you're going to scoop the tailbone. You want to posterior tilt of the pelvis, right? So you're shifting your weight just behind the sits bones, but not so far back that you're on the sacrum yet, right? So just between the tailbone or the sacrum and the sits bones. Good. And then see if you can draw the navel and the rib cage in, and then lift your heels off the floor, lift your toes off the floor, and see if you can bring the knees and the sternum, not the shoulders, just the sternum towards each other. And you can kind of support the legs. I'm just taking the hands behind the knees and drawing the knees in, relax the shoulders. Good. Soften the neck. Just kind of test it a little bit. And then very gently to lift the sternum, look up a little, let the gaze fall off the tip of the nose, but keep the position of the head. Take another deep breath in. Those of you who want to push the thighs into the hands and extend those legs. Good. Exhale, maybe extend those arms. Inhale. Exhale. Bring it closer. One more deep breath in. Relax the shoulders. Then you draw those lower ribs in, the navel in, and then inhale, bring the legs in, this time cross the legs, and we're going to roll over the feet and come forward onto hands and knees. Beautiful. And just take the hands underneath the shoulders. Let's start with our cat-cow. Good. I have no cows in the room, but I do have a couple cats. Inhale, let's take our cow pose. Again, just kind of let the pelvis tip forward, shift your weight forward, and then extend those arms, lifting the heart. Good, reaching up to the ceiling with the crown of the head. The gaze falls off the tip of the nose. And then shift your hips back, scoop the tailbone. Lift the navel, retract, and draw those lower ribs in towards each other, into the body. Good. Let the head fall. And look up to the third eye, which is right between the eyebrows. Inhale, shift your weight forward. So start from the base of the spine, work your way up. So reach to the crown, but look off the tip of the nose. So working the eye muscles a little bit here, the ocular muscles. Exhale. Close. Good. Look to the third eye. So it's almost like you're looking towards your thumbs, the space between your thumbs, without lifting the head. Inhale, gaze off the tip of the nose. Exhale. Gaze toward your thumbs without lifting the head. They're looking up, looking down. Last time, breathing in, cow pose. Breathing out, cat pose. And then inhale, neutral spine. Let's bring the toes together. Shift the hips back towards the heels. Keep the arms extended if that feels appropriate for your shoulders. Otherwise, just bring the hands in. Rest one hand on top of the other. Forehead to the top hand. Lower the hips to the extent possible to the heels. Good. If you need to have a little bit more, less compression or flexion in the knees, you can just kind of take, I like to bring the feet apart here, thighs rolling in. Just bring the hips over the knees. Good. Shoulders over the elbows and rest your head on your hands. And then again, here you can kind of scoop the tailbone under, lift the navel, retract the ribs, press into the elbows, and just start to breathe into the back a little bit. Nice. Good. Inhale, one more breath. Exhale, engage the abdomen, conscious engaging of the abdomen, helps to stretch the back. We're going to flex the toes. So from child's pose, come forward a little bit. Tuck your toes underneath, hook the big toe so you can create some space through the ball of the foot. And then again, just kind of settle the hips back towards the heels if possible. We're going to walk the hands in, start with a tripod position with the hands under the shoulders. Good. And then if possible, bringing a little bit more flexion to the toes, a little bit more stretch to the soles of the feet. Good. Right? We can lean back a little bit. Draw the lower ribs in towards each other, back a little bit, breathing in, reach through the crown of the head. Exhale. And then we'll make our way into downward facing dog. So walk the hands forward. Good. You can circle out the ankles, tap the tops of your feet. Good. And then take your time working into your downward dog. Feel free to start with your knees bent. You can also work with a chair. You need to keep the head above the level of the heart. Hands on the seat of the chair, pressing firmly into the front legs of the chair so it doesn't tip back. And again, just kind of really extending one heel and then the other heel. So I'm just sort of cycling out the legs, right? Breathing in, breathing out. And then when you're ready, see if you can just weight the heels towards the earth. Shift your weight a little forward. Drop into the arms. So it almost feels like the arms are pushing back into the shoulder girdle. And then I'm going to lift and draw the hips up and back. There's a rocking back here that helps to create some space around the shoulder girdle without losing that sense of integrity, right? These are bones of the shoulder girdle, right? The shoulder blades, the collar bones, and the upper arm bone, right? All integrate. So kind of a hollowing of the armpit. You're going to feel like you're hugging your upper side ribs. As you engage the muscles that help to draw the shoulder blades away from the head and the neck. And we'll take another deep breath in, the latissimus dorsi, the lat muscles. Exhale, amongst others, right? Take another deep breath in. Good. Exhale. And then from here, let's gently saunter the feet, walk the feet up towards the hand. Excuse me, Tez. This is Tez, the Tasmanian devil. And Hue. Take a deep breath in, lifting the heart. Feel free to bend the knees and drop the hips here, right?
Use the hands to kind of lift the heart. I want to keep tipping the pelvis forward. So this is kind of like a cat-cow in a standing position. Let's rock the pelvis back so you can feel that pulling or that stretching of the back. Everything's moving back a bit. And then the weight going forward a little bit into the ball of the foot as you tip the pelvis forward, as if you were stretching your navel towards your knees. Exhale. Good. Tipping the pelvis back. Weights in the heels. Tipping the pelvis forward. Weight in the ball of the foot. Let's keep the weight in the ball of the foot. And we're going to just step into the heel to get the navel to rise, but without the pelvis tipping back. Keep the pelvis tipping forward, step into the heels, lift the navel, and now stretch the navel towards the knees. So you find as much length in the lumbar as you can, the lower back, and then let the arms, you can hold onto the elbows. I'm just kind of interweaving the forearms and let the hip fall. And see if you can just find a little bit of length through the right side of the rib cage, a little bit more length through the left side of the rib cage. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, full breath out. Navel rising, head falling. One more breath. Here, let the shoulders fall towards the ears. Find some length in your spinal muscles. Beautiful. Release the arms. Drop the hips. Hands to thighs. Root through the heels. Lift and draw to the belly. Round the back. And let's gently unfurl. Stepping through the heels of your feet to extend the knees, the hips, unfurl the heart. Just let the shoulders fall back. Take a deep breath in, sternum rising. Good, exhale. Inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to the earth. You can bend the knees again a little bit here, releasing head and neck. Inhale, lift the heart. Good, and we'll keep the right foot forward, take the left leg back. Good. Finding that lunge, take a deep breath in, step into the front heel. You can bring the back knee to the floor if you'd like to. So it's either a version of Parshvottanasana or Ardha Hanumanasana, right? Ardha Hanumanasana, the back knee's on the ground. You're taking the hips back and drawing that right hip back as you extend that right leg. Right, so just feel into, you can work with blocks as well, or again, the seat of a chair, right? Where you keep the head, the heart up, the hands on the seat of the chair or the sofa, and you dial that right hip back. So just kind of rocking forward and back a few times. Find extension in that left front hip. I'm reaching back through the heel, trying to keep the knee super straight and avoid the cats. Exhale. And one more time, deep breath in. Beautiful. And exhale. Inhale. You can either keep the back knee on the floor or straighten. We're going to shift into a high push-up position or supported with both knees on the ground. Inhale, take that right leg back. Remember, we want to, again, tip the pelvis back. Shift your weight forward. We never really shift the weight forward enough until the shoulders are right over the hands. Good. Take a deep breath in. Hollow the belly, hollow the chest. Push the earth away from you. Good. And then exhale. Let's take it back into downward dog. But don't crush the cats. Feel free to work through your vinyasa. That works as well. So lowering to the earth, chest and hips. Rising to a locust. Good. Or a half locust, half cobra, or supported upward dog position, and then downward facing dog. Exhale. Good. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Bring the feet a little closer together. We're going to take that right leg up in the air. So extend that right leg. Keep the thigh rolling in as much as possible. So you're working with the hamstrings and the glutes. Try not to sink into the kidneys. Lift and down to the abdomen. Press through the hands. And then inhale that left heel up off the floor to shift your weight forward. Good. And we're going to take a lunge, stepping our right foot forward again. Good. Open through the back hip and then just step that back foot forward to meet the front foot. Breathe in. Exhale and bow. You can take your ragdoll pose or Uttanasana for a couple of breaths. We're just going to stay right here. The weight is in the ball of the foot. Step into the heel and lift the navel, pull the ribs into the body, and this is what allows the chest to fold towards the thighs. Root to rise, inhale, arms to the sky. Beautiful. And then hands to heart center. Gathering the mind, gathering that inner speech, inner narrative, and then taking the seat of experiential intelligence of the heart. Inhale, extend those arms up. Lift the gaze. Exhale, hinge from the hips. So bend the knees if you need to. Drawing the navel towards the knees and then re-extend as you bow, drawing into the abdomen. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lifting the heart. Good, switch legs, so now the right leg goes back and the left leg stays forward. You can bend the knee and take Ardha Hanumanasana or keep the back leg straight and begin to straighten the front leg, dialing that left hip back. Inhale. Good. You can take a full breath, or I'm exhaling back and inhaling forward. Work with your blocks if you need the additional height or a chair. Good. Exhale, draw into the belly. This helps to release the hamstring when you engage the abdomen, right? Inhale, you don't want to pull the back. You want to strengthen the front body to support release in the opposing muscles. Good. A few more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more time. Breathe into the stretch of the front hip. Exhale. Breathe into the back body. Come forward into your lunge. Again, you can keep the back knee on the ground or keep it straight. Exhale. Step that left leg back high. Push up position. Take a deep breath in, push the earth away from you, push the earth away from you. Come onto your toes, pitch forward into the shoulders a little bit, and then gently lower to the ground, or take it straight back to your downward dog, child's pose, whatever you need to do. Lift and rise. Again, the elbows can be bent or straight. All these different versions of your back bend, and then exhale, downward dog or child's pose, hips to heels for child's. Inhale, beautiful. Exhale, lift the navel, retract the ribs, and send those hips back. Good, bring the feet a little closer together in your downward dog. Come up to hands and knees. You extend that left leg this time. So maybe it's tiger pose, where you're on the right knee and you're lifting that, roll the leg in and extend, right? Inhale, lift the right heel. Exhale, curl the left leg in, stepping that left leg or scooching that left leg forward. Good, lower the hips and then step the right foot into the left. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step into the heel, lift the navel, retract the ribs, and bow. Root to rise. Inhale, arms to the sky. Good. And bring the arms by your sides. Standing tree pose. Breathing in. Start with the feet together. Have a wall or chair nearby. Good. Start with the right leg bent. Again, just kind of opening a little bit through the hip, just 45-degree angle. Make sure you're not sinking into that left leg. So we're going to step into that left heel, bring the right foot somewhere on the left leg, right? Maybe around the knee, that works. So the outer thigh just above the knee and the outer calf just below the knee are pressing in. This actually really helps to stabilize the knee joint. Good, right? And it becomes unstable if you're locking the knee and you're not doing anything with that standing leg. So step into the heel. Good. Maybe the right foot is on the block, on a chair. So we have a little bit of opening through the hip. The foot, you want to rest the foot on something so you can start to release the hip flexors, right here. If they're engaging, it's going to feel like it's taking that right side of the pelvis up. So invite the right side of the pelvis to soften And then step into your standing heel, draw up through the lower belly, lift the heart. Maybe the hands come to the sternum, maybe they reach to the sky. Breathe in. Good. Reach up to the crown of your head, but look off the tip of the nose. Again, soften the gaze. See if you can focus your attention inside rather than focusing on a point outside yourself. Move the awareness around, but stay strong from your central core. Good. Light through the heart. Good. Buoyant through the head. Breathe in. Through that standing leg. Exhale. Gently release the arms. If you fall out of the tree, not literally, but if you fall out of the tree, we just kind of set it up again, right? And then release that right leg to the earth. Root through both feet. Tadasana. Find that grounding quality, the steadiness, stoicism of mountain. Good. Now lift the left heel. Step into that right leg. Lift and draw up through the lower belly. Soften the lower ribs so you're not pulling into the back. And then let's bring that left foot somewhere up on the right inner thigh, inner knee, inner calf, inner ankle. And again, we're trying to soften and release this left hip this time. Good. Take a deep breath in. With the exhalation, can the navel, the lower belly draw back as if you're scooping out the inner sacrum. Soften the rib cage. And then the sternum can rise to meet the thumbs if your hands come together in namaskar. Breathing, maybe the arms extend just to get that sense of lift and length through the side body. Gaze off the tip of the nose as you reach up to the crown. Good. Again, we're creating a sense of support holding from the lower abdomen. Energy rises to create lightness, uplift, and expansion through the heart. Buoyancy in the head. And then really stepping into that standing heel. Sending energy, rooting down and rising up at the same time. We're holding both of those energies in the space of this posture. Right side, left side. Lifting, lengthening. Good. Inhale, one more deep breath in. A lot of work in that standing leg. Exhale. And we want to strengthen the bones by firming up the muscles and gently release that left foot to the earth. Take a vinyasa to the earth. Inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Lift. Exhale, hinge forward and bow. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, so lifting the heart. Good. And then lunge. Or if you float back. Good. Exhale. Nice, lower to the earth. Beautiful. And then inhale, rise. We're just going to lift the sternum. Try not to use the head and neck. See if you can press the tops of your toes into the floor. Lift the knees. Press the tailbone or the sacrum down into the floor. Good. And then lift the heart. Use your back muscles. So I'm not using my arms that much. Bring the hands back by the lower ribs. And I'm not trying to pull the shoulders back. See if you can just draw the elbows back towards the hips and in a little. Now press into the hands. So from Shalabhasana, half locust, we come into half cobra. And then maybe extend those arms, upward facing dog. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. So I'm going to have us bring the knees forward. Splay or take the feet apart. So your thighs, right, are rolling in towards each other as the legs, the feet dial out. But I don't want the feet turning out, right? So again, a little rolling in of the thigh. And then let's lower the hips back between the feet. What you don't want is the pelvis tipping back, right? So we actually want the pelvis to tip forward a little bit. Not so much that this is going to tug on the inner knees if you're cranking on those kidneys. So again, it's just letting the sits bones fall, little anterior tilt of the pelvis. So the inner sacrum, the inner spine, the heart, right? We're sending energy up to the heart so the heart can rise and encourage the shoulders to release. Beautiful. A little tiny bit of height underneath the hips. Inhale, we're going to take the arms behind. Good. So what I'd like to do is roll those shoulders in. So we're gonna turn if you take the arms out to the sides for a moment, thumbs are gonna dial up, forward, down, good. And then we're gonna take those, I'm bringing the arms in towards one another behind you. This is shoulder extension. And I want to extend and lift, so this is triceps and posterior deltoid, lifting or extending the arm. What I don't want is this, right, where I dislocate or pull on the shoulder. Keep the arm integrating the shoulder because this is what's going to help us open up the chest and the pectoral muscles and get a stretch in the front of the shoulder without the pulling, okay? So I'm just going to, you can start with the fingertips on the floor. Tip the pelvis forward just a little bit and get the navel drawing back, the rib cage drawing back, and the heart going up. And then from here, turn the palms towards one another so they're facing towards one another. If you were holding something, a block, say, between the palms of your hands. It's very nice now if you can interlace the fingers. So all I'm doing is bending the elbows and trying to bring the fingers a little closer together. This may have the effect of the elbows falling out, shoulders pulling forward a little bit towards the floor. My thumbs are actually touching the cushion. Elbows are drawing in a little bit towards each other. And then all I'm going to do, without pulling on the shoulders, which you can tell pops the rib cage, right? All I'm going to do is extend the elbows. And again, I'm not there. There's a sensation of a little bend in the elbows. I want the pelvis to tip forward. And it's the heart that goes up. And then extend those arms to your degree. So shoulder extension, pectoral stretch. The arms can stay nice and low. You're still getting the shoulder stretch. And anyone who is inclined to come forward can come forward. My hips feel like they're coming off the floor a little bit. And then the arms just go up as the head goes down. Let the shoulders drop forward. Good. And see if you get the extension from the elbows. And then as I tip or weight the sits bones, draw the navel to the spine, unfurl the heart. Good. I can bring myself back up again. Good. And then gently release. And just kind of notice. Beautiful. I know the knees might be an issue at this point. So take a deep breath and really come forward. I'd like to kind of work into dolphin pose or variations. You can work with a block. Good. So the palms are now pressing into the sides of the block. And I'm getting the feet are getting attacked here. And we're going to tuck the toes and then lift the sacrum to the sky. Keep the shoulders right over the elbows. Let the head fall. Breathe in. Maybe as you rock the pelvis back. Again, trying not to lose the integrity of the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Beautiful. Exhale, full breath out. Let the head fall. We want to release the head, find some length in the neck. Press into those elbows and hug the sides of your rib cage. And let's lower the knees back down to the earth. Beautiful. Again, I'm just going to kind of take the thighs or knees in towards one another, splay the feet, lower the hips, and come back up to an upright position for the other side. If you need to stretch out the legs, but work with some height, right? So this actually prepares us for Purvottanasana, which is lifting the heart to the rising sun. You attacked my toe. Right? Which is again, like the reverse table pose. So same action, right? Where we're taking the weight back. We want shoulder extension by lifting, by broadening the sternum, the pectoral muscles, the heart space, right? So legs can be straight. We're going to shift the interlace of the fingers. Start by just kind of extending those arms behind you. I've got my index finger, middle finger touching the floor. I'm stretching the legs out in front of me. I have height under the hips here. Really hard to do extension, right? When the legs are straight. And just kind of tip the pelvis forward a little bit. Draw the navel, rib cage back, lift the sternum, breathe in. Bend your elbows and interlace the fingers. So make sure you have the weird sensation of interlace. If the shoulders are falling forward, that's okay. But we're going to very gently just kind of rest the thumbs. I've got the thumbs next to each other, resting on the sacrum. So nice and low on the hips. And then the elbow, just the elbows are drawing in. So I'm not squeezing the shoulder blades, they're coming a little closer together. Good, and I'm not pulling on the shoulders, I'm just kind of lifting the heart. And then see if you can just begin to straighten out the elbows and see if you can get a little extension there, right? So I'm just reaching the extending the elbows. That's all I'm doing. I don't want this to like, you know, I don't want to start to pull into the kidneys. I don't want to start to pull into the neck. I don't want to pull into the shoulders and pop the ribs, right? Just elbow extension, just elbow extension. Breathe in. Anyone who would like to, you can draw the navel towards the knees and pitch forward. Try not to flex the wrists. And then inhale, lift the heart. So I'm not pulling on the shoulders. Exhale, draw the navel to the spine. Shift your weight back towards the pelvis and inhale to an upright position. Let the arms come all the way down. Good. Exhale. Whew. Head and brain drift back so the ears stack over the shoulders. Good. Those of you in Virasana still in Hero's Pose, very gently come forward and extend the legs. Good. And we'll take reverse table pose here. So a nice way to do this is to work with a little bit of height under the hands. You don't have to, but if I take the blocks behind me, right? So again, shoulder extension, I can have the ball of the hand on the block, fingers release a little bit towards the front of the block. And again, shoulders roll forward, but the elbows are gonna press in a little bit towards the midline. That's gonna give you this hugging sensation where we were tapping with the fingers, right? Take a deep breath in. So walk those feet in just a little bit. They're not gonna come all the way back because I'm gonna slide my hips forward towards my feet. You don't even have to come up, right? This gives you, again, the elbows are not squeezing in too much towards each other, but they are drawing in, and then the heart's going up, and I'm not pulling on the shoulders, just letting the heart rise, the heart rise, the heart rise. So a little flexion in the wrists here, good. A lot of extension in the shoulders, beautiful. And then anyone who'd like to step into the heels, press the sacrum up and extend those elbows. And you have reverse table pose. You can shift your weight back a little bit to ease the extension on the shoulders. You can walk the feet out a little bit to add a little extension to the shoulders. So you're using the back of the upper arm, the triceps, to support yourself. Good. And then gently lower down. I'm rolling out my blanket, and it's going to go underneath the heart, the back of the heart, right? So I'm going to start with my elbows. Here's your shoulder extension again. Good. I'm going to place my shoulder blade region on the blanket, step into the feet. Good. And then I'm just going to roll back. So the head, use the hands behind the head here to draw the head away from the neck to create some space there. Let the brain fall back. So the head can go back a little bit, but it doesn't want to collapse, right? So put some extra height under the head if you need to, and the neck. But the shoulders, right? So if you have extra height under the neck, cool. You want the brain to feel like it's falling back a little bit to the extent that this feels okay. I know those of us who have more rounding in the thoracic spine, this is challenging, right? And then really just kind of asking the thoracic spine to just mold in a way that it's not normally going to, right around this blanket. With the sacrum on the ground, you can lift the hips and slide the sacrum towards the feet. Shoulders are rolling back and down into the space behind the blanket, and maybe if you have some support under the head and neck, and then the legs can just extend towards the front corners of your hands. Take a deep breath in. Noticing the breath. Noticing any tension in the chest, in the heart space. Just releasing to the extent possible some of the tension in the neck, in the shoulders, in the upper back.
get to that upper body. We always need to sort of both anchor in our indwelling abode, right? Muladhara, this sense of safety and security that we get from grounding our nervous system. This is the action, right? The work of the toes and the feet and the legs and the hips. And then feeling into the energy of flow, the element of water, the second chakra, which allows us to navigate impermanence, change, and over time to begin to work with unpredictability, uncertainty. And it is a practice. It is a practice. Allow the embers of movement, of action to die out, to fall away, to cool down, so that we can rest for just these last few moments of our practice in anahata, in the heart energy, gratitude, of grace, of generosity, patience, forgiveness, compassion, acceptance. I always like to just, not to bring everyone into their heads with this, but just an understanding of acceptance and or forgiveness as forgiving ourselves and others for being human, for the experiences that may have brought them to where they are. We do not have to forgive actions that are hurtful. We simply lay to rest what we're able to release, to let go of. This is the practice of Shavasana. How well do I live? How well do I love? And how well do I learn to let go? So when you're ready, I'm going to close out the practice just to be mindful of our time together this morning. May all be well with this world. May we lead by keeping to the right path. May we honor and heal humanity, that all beings everywhere may be free from pain and suffering. May we know this earth to be sacred, that she may yield her fruit in abundance. May this world be free from exploitation and oppression, that the righteous may be free from fear and hatred and fear. Peace. Peace in our hearts, peace in our speech, peace in our minds, in our perceptions, in our perspectives. Namaste.